What's up, YouTube? Today I'm going to talk about simulations, substitutions, and computer nerds. So, what spawned this topic? I was on the Elon app, the Twitter, and I came across this post where somebody was criticizing a kind of do it yourself woodworking project. So, someone made some like bench thing that attached to a tree, but basically they did it in a way that was kind of like a movie set. Like, it wasn't actually functional, the actual real thing. It was kind of a thrown together pretend play example of the thing that might be good enough for a couple of photographs or um, maybe you could use it like once or something, but not something durable, not something lasting, not something real that you would actually continue to be using. So this got me thinking of like the problems that a lot of younger working type people are facing these days, which is that we don't have a lot of experience with certain tools. On the other hand, a lot of us were computer nerds. We know and we're used to working on computers, doing all sorts of what you might call digital simulations or something. So, for example, a lot of people, they haven't done carpentry themselves, they haven't built a house, but maybe they played some like building simulator game. They did some kind of they have building experience in the capacity of using some software. Now, in a kind of strange turn of events, though, I was thinking though that a lot of the times when we're doing that sort of stuff, it's not really a simulation in the sense that the actual kind of job you would get, for example, being an architect, you're probably going to use like AutoCAD software, some kind of architectural software. So your job will be manipulating information, images and stuff, and it's probably someone else who's actually going to be doing the manual labor to actually make the thing. So, right, in some ways, then people growing up with computers, cell phones, the internet, etc., there is a sense in which we're detached from what you might call like touching grass or base reality, in that, like, you don't actually say get in a fist fight with somebody, but are people still fighting each other? Yeah, I mean, you go on some video game or something, and there's lots of arenas or places in which people might be fighting each other. And this realm, digital realm, internet realm, cyberspace, whatever you might want to call it, I mean, for better, for worse, this is actually where people are competing, for example, for high paying jobs. Like, probably some of the highest paying jobs are like playing video games in some sense. So, like, for example, I made a video on doing stock trading, stuff like that. I mean, in many ways, I'm like staring at a computer. I'm playing a video game. So I'm a kind of professional gamer. So whether you're a programmer, you're editing videos, or you're running a business, even you're doing conference calls. In some ways, it's like all these things are happening through this digital medium, which is, in a sense, I guess you could call it like a simulation, a screen over reality. But those are also like this. This is the layer in which the quote unquote real jobs also interface with. We'll put it this way: you could do a lot of stuff in the digital world that people wouldn't say is a simulation. They would say it's real. Like, if I lose $1 million uh, trading with online banking or something, online stock exchange, something like that, then I think most people would agree that I actually lost $1 million in some regard. I didn't. It's not a simulation in the sense that it's synchronized with the real brokerage accounts and stuff. Right. Likewise, let's say you create some digital artwork, or you do some musical composition, and it's digital. I think there's a sense in which people would say that that's a real thing that you're doing. Or like here, right now, when I'm recording a video, um, is it a simulation of recording a video or am I actually recording a video? I think I'm actually recording a video. So the medium itself, might be like a simulation zone. It's just um, like you're not actually looking at me, you're looking at a recording of me or listening to a recording of my voice if you're accessing this video. So there's a sense, there's a kind of separation, there's a screen, but there is a sense in which it is the real thing, as opposed to say if I stood in front of a wall and talked to the wall, but I didn't have the camera on and I wasn't hitting record. Okay, so this I guess realization or something I had, this description I'm making of computers, digital substitutions, simulations, etc., etc. This is to say that we might be using computers, we might be separated from each other in many ways, but this doesn't mean that what we're doing is not real and that it doesn't have consequences, that it's not the real thing, or that it's unimportant. And just like digital banking, something like that might mean shuffling around quote unquote real money, but you're doing it through the digital interface. Likewise, the words, the images, etc., that we use on the computer, likewise, these things could also become very real. Now, this is I guess, heavy, weighty sort of subject because I think a lot of the times when people are doing stuff digitally, they think of it in a kind of throwaway, it's not the real thing sense, but maybe it's actually more of a matter of quantity than quality. It is very real. It is very important, and there could be mega big consequences for what you do. Of course, there is a different form than if you talk to 1,000 people online. There's a sense in which that's different from if you talk to 1,000 people in real life. But there is a sense in which it is the real thing. It is the same, and that you are talking to 1,000 people or whatever. And so this is important to remember and to pay attention to, because it means that the thoughts, the words, the deeds that we have, whether online, offline, whatever, they do affect stuff. And so, like, I had a hypothetical-ish question here, which is, can you simulate prayer? Or, if you're in the matrix, you're looking at a computer screen, you say a prayer. Does it make it less a prayer or more a prayer if you're at a computer or driving your car or doing something else? Of course, certain environments that might be more prototypical or normal for some activity, but that doesn't mean that a more digital new form of something isn't real. So I guess I don't really know where I'm going with all this, beyond saying that externally, in terms of appearance, illusions, it might seem that a lot of people are not really doing much. It's just like a lot of people from the outside, how you might describe what they're doing is, they sit in front of a computer, they press buttons, they click things. But from those externals, one person sitting in front of a screen, clicking and doing things, might be very different from another person who externally is doing the same thing. It's like we're all we're given like a sort of mask or exterior conformity, but just like how we can't read each other's thoughts, I guess the digital world, maybe in some ways it's like one step detached from that, in which we do still see some physical, reflections. Like I press buttons on my keyboard, stuff comes up on my screen. So it's not like telepathy yet, but it's becoming more and more of an image of how, like, very subtle movements of thoughts, little intentions, ripple out and echo into the real world. So, in a very sort of observable, concrete way, we're seeing. I don't know if you want to call it like an icon or a kind of symbol or reflection of the process by which thoughts become words and then become action. But in the digital realm, I think, for better or for worse, this is a kind of pattern that is being made more clear than in previous generations. And yeah, no, just like I said, if you like, can you simulate prayer? Can you, I don't know, simulate having a good thought or simulate having a bad thought, etc., etc. It seems that intentions, things like this, they're still very, very real, though that the way that they might be expressed or manifest themselves could be very different looking from the outside, depending on your situation. All right, that's enough rambling for today. Thank you all for joining here. Leave a comment, like, subscribe, do the rest. Thank you.